Good evening and welcome. Before tonight's board meeting, Dylan Freelou, a 7th grade student at R.K. Smith Middle School, will lead us in a moment of reflection. Dylan is an honor roll student at R.K. Smith Middle School and serves as a student body vice president. He is also a member of the Beta Club, Student Council, and robotics team, as well as the football, basketball, baseball, and track teams. And last night, we had the honor of seeing Dylan perform with the middle school choir at the Honor Choir concert and did a fabulous job. So after the moment of reflection, board member Dennis Knockin will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to lead the prayer this evening. If you may choose to do so, please bow your heads in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the gifts you have given us and the wonderful opportunities for learning that are provided for students in St. Charles Parish. Thank you for the teachers, principals, and all other staff members that help make these opportunities possible. Thank you all for the support and leadership of our school board members. Please guide them as they make decisions tonight. Give them your wisdom and discernment to do what is best for your children. Watch over all who are present tonight. Keep us under your protection during the meeting and as we depart home with our families. Lord, you are our Father and our inspiration, and we trust you today and always. Amen.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you delivering that moment of reflection for us this evening. This meeting of the board for St. Charles Parish Public Schools for Wednesday, October 19th is called to order. For the record, we have all 8 board members in attendance this evening. Also in attendance is our superintendent, Dr. Ken Ortling, and also Mrs. Shelley Babineau, who is the executive secretary for the board and the superintendent. The first item on the agenda this evening is a resolution in memory of Wanda Melanson, and I would ask Mr. Art O'Quinn to present that resolution.
I'd be honored, Mr. President. Ms. Melanson was a teacher of mine back when I was a student at Hornville High. Resolution in memory of Ms. Wanda Melanson. Whereas Ms. Wanda Melanson served as an educator for 30 years, most recently as a gifted, talented teacher in the St. Charles Parish Public Schools. And be it resolved that the St. Charles Parish School Board herein expresses to the family of the late Wanda Melanson their sincere sympathy in this, their time of sorrow. And be it further resolved that a page in the October 19th, 2022 minute book be set aside for the sole purpose of inscribing thereon this resolution, and that a copy of the resolution be mailed to the Melanson family. And I move adoption.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. O'Quinn, seconded by Mrs. Bernard. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes, and there's no one from the Melanson family in attendance this evening, but we'll make sure that that resolution gets delivered to the family. The next item on the agenda is item 2.02, resolution in memory of George Olivier, and I ask Mr. Sonny Savoy to present that resolution.
It'll be my pleasure, Mr. President. Whereas Mr. George Olivier served as an instrumental music teacher for a total of 30 years in the St. Charles Parish school system, and 8 years outside our district, for a total of 38 years of service. Be it resolved that the St. Charles Parish School Board herein express to the family of the late George Olivier its sincere sympathy in this, their time of sorrow. And be it further resolved that a page in October 19, 2022 board meeting minute book be set aside for the sole purpose of inscribing thereon this resolution, and that a copy of this resolution be presented to the Olivier family. And I move its adoption.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. And again, there's no one here from the Olivier family, but we'll make sure that the resolution gets delivered to the family. The next item on the agenda is item 2.03, National Principals Month Proclamation. And I ask Mrs. Melinda Bernard to present that proclamation.
It would be an honor and a privilege, Mr. Suffren. Thank you. National Principals Month Proclamation. Whereas the St. Charles Parish School Board has declared the month of October 2022 as National Principals Month in coordination with the efforts of the National Association of Elementary School Principals, the American Federation of School Administrators, and the National Association of Secondary School Principals. And whereas principals are expected to be instructional leaders, assessment experts, disciplinarians, public relations experts, budget analysts, facility managers, guardians of various legal, contractual, and policy mandates and initiatives, as well as being entrusted with the education and development of young people, our most valuable resource. And whereas principals set the academic tone for their schools and work collaboratively with teachers to maintain high curriculum standards and set performance goals and objectives for schools to achieve educational excellence. And whereas the St. Charles Parish School Board honors such exemplary elementary and secondary level public school leaders committed to serving students from pre-kindergarten to grade 12. And whereas the St. Charles Parish School Board recognizes outstanding elementary, middle, and high school principals who have succeeded in providing high-quality learning opportunities for students, as well as their exemplary contributions to their profession. And whereas to honor and recognize the contribution of all school principals and assistant principals at all grade levels in ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in honor of the service of all principals and to recognize the importance of their school leadership so that every child has access to a high-quality education and to celebrate school leader accomplishments, the month of October 2022 is hereby designated in St. Charles Parish to be National Principals Month. Mr. President, I move approval of this proclamation.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bernard, seconded by Mr. Nakan. Mr. Superintendent, I understand we have some special guests in attendance this evening.
Yes, sir. Before we get to announcing our principals, I just want you to know, as a leader of your building, you truly balance so many responsibilities and tasks in order for our students, to succeed. On the worst of days and on mostly good days, I hope you reflect on the positive impact that you have on your students, staff, parents, and community, because creating the conditions to help others succeed is one of the highest duties and responsibilities a leader in any setting or organization can have, especially in a school. On behalf of the board and the school system, thank you for creating those conditions in your school that help our staff and students succeed. Your dedication to your profession, to this district, and most importantly, to our children in St. Charles Parish Public Schools is extraordinary and commendable. We deeply, deeply appreciate each and every one of you. And at this time, I'd like Mr. Kimball, Executive Director of Secondary Schools, and Ms. Angele Babin, Executive Director of Elementary Schools, to please come and introduce our principals in attendance tonight.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Ortling and members of the board. It is our pleasure to introduce to you our principals. We'll begin with our elementary. Please come forward when your name is called. Carol Bowie Cotton. Angie Butler, Shannon Diodne, Shonda Harris, Rebecca Mathern, Christina Mullins, Kelly Ortling, Lisa Perrin, Vanessa Terry, and Nikki Weber.
It's an honor to be able to recognize our secondary school principals at this time. Mr. Harold Blood, Miss Ingrid Brass, Mr. Jose Gonzalez, Mr. Jason Mider, Miss Lasan Porter, and Dr. David Scheck-Snyder, Mr. Stephen Gutierrez, and even though Ms. Fitzgerald couldn't be with us tonight, I definitely would be remiss if I didn't recognize her as well, Miss Elaine Fitzgerald. Thank you very much. We're going to take a group picture. You may want to squeeze in, guys in the back.
In the front, Jason.
Appreciate you all.
Lay down.
Okay, any discussion?
Mr. President, I think I'd be a little remiss if I didn't remind everybody that Miss Lisa Perrin just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Perrin.
Okay, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 2.04, Red Ribbon Week Proclamation. And I ask Mr. John Smith to please present that proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Red Ribbon Week Proclamation. Whereas all children in St. Charles Parish are entitled to attend a school free of drugs and violence, and whereas we are committed to nurturing the full potential of St. Charles Parish youth, and whereas the Department of Education and statewide drug-free schools and communities personnel believe in and strive for a school environment free of drugs and violence, and whereas all citizens of St. Charles Parish join with the teachers, administrators, and parish and state officials in encouraging our youth to become productive citizens and to maintain healthy lifestyles. Now therefore be it resolved that the St. Charles Parish School Board does hereby support October 23rd through 31st, 2022 as Red Ribbon Week and encourages its school officials to participate in drug awareness activities and be strongly committed to drug-free healthy lifestyles. Be it further resolved that the St. Charles Parish School Board encourages all of the students in St. Charles Parish to pledge to celebrate life lived drugs free. I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. Robichaux. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 3.01, Board and Superintendent's Recognition.
Students. School system students were selected for the LMEA District 7 Honor Band. From Destrehan High School, Braden Benedict. And from Hornmill High School, Connor Cunningham. Sites. The Yule J. Landry Senior Educational Program Center received an exemplary status from the Louisiana Department of Education's site audit, making it the first alternative education site in the state to receive this recognition. Administrator Ingrid Brass and I believe some of the Landry co-workers of Ingrid are also here with us tonight, so please come forward.
Brad just went there. He just moved in there.
On behalf of the board, congratulations to the students that were recognized on being selected to the LMEA District 7 Honor Band. We look forward to those guys performing at our honor band concert in February. I'd also like to congratulate the Landry Educational Programs Center on its recognition from the Department of Education. That's well deserved. So again, congratulations to Ms. Brass and the entire staff there. Item 3.02, Service Awards. The school board annually recognizes employees who have devoted years of service to the school system through the St. Charles Parish Public Schools Service Awards program. Benchmarks of 20, 25, 30, and 35 and 40 years are recognized. Employees are being honored at the board meeting tonight. The superintendent and I will recognize each employee.
Honoring 20 years of service, Donna Bourgeois. Anitra Boyd. Roy Boyd. Corey Carrigy. George Dunmiles Jr. Stephanie Ganishow. Deborah Hall. Lynette Hilaire. Samantha Hills. Jennifer Hogan. Yolanda Jackson Derensberg. Cheryl Landry. Daniel Martin. Lisa Morgan. Juanita Parquette. Janine Pizzatola. Lisa Ramos. Margaret Rodrigue. Laura Taylor. Mindy Van Hoven. Donna Weaver. Claire Whitaker. Honoring 25 years of service, James Bertrand. Lisa Kane. Brian Goff. Christy Goff. Tamika Green. Christy Labatt. Kelly Mathern. Lisa Perrin. Jerry Smith. Barbara Taylor. Shannon Tomplay. Randy Trosclair. Honoring 30 years of service, Calvin Ike. Heidi Stein. Honoring 35 years of service, Maria Concian. Board Member Clarence Savoy. Board Member John Smith. Congratulations to all honorees.
On behalf of the board, congratulations to the recipients of the service awards this evening. And thank you for your many years of service to the district and to our students. I had mentioned earlier that we had 81 employees scheduled to be recognized this evening, representing a total of 1,820 years of service. So I think that deserves a round of applause. That speaks to the quantity, but also we thank you for the quality of service that you've provided over that time. At this time, we're going to take a short recess, and we'll reconvene in about 3 minutes to conduct the business portion of the meeting. Thank you for attending this evening. Okay, we're back in session to conduct the business portion of the meeting. The first item under business items is item 4.01, expulsion appeal for student number 1. As per the Louisiana Revised Statute, Section 17, Paragraph 416 C3B4, the school board may review expulsion decisions and choose to affirm, reverse, or modify the actions previously taken by the superintendent or the superintendent's designee. The members of the St. Charles Parish School Board met as an ad hoc committee on Monday, October 17, 2022, at the request of student number 1's parents to consider their request of the board to review the decision to expel student number 1 and the resulting sanctions. The members of the St. Charles Parish School Board need to consider and then act upon the recommendation of its ad hoc committee.
I move that we approve the ad hoc committee's recommendation to affirm the expulsion and sanctions of student number 1.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Oquan, seconded by Mr. Savoy. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes with one abstention by Mr. Nakian.
Mr. President, just for the public's record, I choose to abstain from this vote because I didn't get an opportunity to participate in this action. So that's the reason for my abstention.
Thank you, Mr. Nakian. Okay, the next item on the agenda is item 4.02, minutes of the September 19th, 2022 committee meetings, September 21st, 2022 regular board meeting, September 28th, 2022 legislative committee meeting, and October 7th, 2022 board retreat.
Move approval of all the minutes listed.
We have a motion by Mr. Robichaux, second by Mr. Nakian. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.03, proposed 2023-2024 school session calendar for first reading. School board policy mandates that the school board shall adopt a calendar for the forthcoming school session. A committee composed of a school board member, a business and industry representative, central office administrators, principals, teachers, parents, and students prepared a calendar for board approval in accordance with our policy and procedures. Adoption of the calendar for the forthcoming school year as early as possible allows for the information to be disseminated to all stakeholders in a timely fashion. This agenda item was reviewed at the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal A of the board's strategic action plan.
I move approval of the proposed 2023-2024 school session calendar for the first reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bernard, seconded by Mr. Savoy. Any discussion?
Congratulate Ms. Regina McMillan for the way she handled the meeting that we had and the way the thing was presented. It was pretty doggone easy to make that decision. So thank her for all the work that she did in putting this all together.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.04, job description for middle school athletic trainer. The superintendent is responsible for recommending new job descriptions to the board. In previous years, the middle school athletic trainer has been evaluated using the standard teacher job description. The middle school athletic trainer is no longer responsible for teacher duties. Therefore, the job description was developed to align with current duties and responsibilities. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the job description middle school athletic trainer.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.05, resident teacher and district mentor trainer compensation plan. In order to maintain a high quality and competitive resident teacher and mentor trainer program, compensation adjustments are necessary. This item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the resident teaching district mentor training compensation plan.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. O'Quinn. Just want to note that this is being done at a actual cost savings of $19,000. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.06, disciplinary hearing officers. According to Louisiana Revised Statute, Section 17, Paragraph 443, Louisiana Revised Statute, Section 17, Paragraph 444, and Louisiana Revised Statute, Section 17, Paragraph 493, the board is required to maintain a current list of disciplinary hearing officers. The board approved list of disciplinary hearing officers has been revised due to the retirement of one attorney and the addition of the replacement. This item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic action plan.
Move approval of the slate of disciplinary hearing officer as presented by the superintendent.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. O'Quinn. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.07, revisions to procedure 4.6.3C, employment of retired personnel, first reading. Based on feedback from Forethought Consulting Incorporated and a review of policy and procedure 4.6.3C, employment of retired personnel, it was determined that significant revisions were required. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic action plan.
I move we accept the revisions to policy and procedure 4.6.3C, employment of retired personnel for a first reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. O'Quinn, second by Mr. Nakan. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. And that motion passes. Item 4.08, revisions to procedure 4.6.10, employee discipline, first reading. Based on feedback from Forethought Consulting Incorporated and a review of policy and procedure 4.6.10, employee discipline, it was determined that significant revisions were required. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic action plan.
Move approval of the revision to the employee discipline procedure.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. O'Quinn. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.09, revisions to policy and procedure 4.7.2, military leave, first reading. Based on feedback from Forethought Consulting Incorporated and a review of policy and procedure 4.7.2, military leave, it was determined that significant revisions were required. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the revisions to policy and procedure 4.7.2, military leave, for its first reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Oquan. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.10, personnel items. Staffing management is necessary to maintain effective functioning of St. Charles Parish Public Schools. The Human Resources Department provides a staffing update monthly to the board. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's Strategic Action Plan.
Mr. President, I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Oquan. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I'd like to acknowledge two personnel that are in the audience tonight that were selected as directors, and we have our new Director of Child Welfare and Attendance, Ms. Erica Merrick, has joined us. Welcome to the team, Ms. Merrick. And we also want to acknowledge our new Director of Public Information, Ms. Regina McMillan.
Thank you, Dr. Orland. Any further discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.11, request for qualifications, alcoholic beverage service provider. Based on stakeholder feedback and to improve customer satisfaction at the Dr. Rodney R. LaFon Performing Arts Center, the district is requesting to seek qualifications to provide a vendor to serve alcoholic beverages at select non-school events. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's Strategic Action Plan.
President, we authorize the request for qualification of alcohol beverage service provider.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nakhan, seconded by Mr. Savoy. Any discussion?
In conjunction with the provider, will the board need to get a license from the parish, the local and state, to provide alcoholic beverages?
I'll ask Mr. Oquan, Mr. President, I can ask Mr. Oquan Malone to come up to speak on that behalf. I believe the provider would have already had the alcohol license necessary, and I know we are also covered insurance-wise for that additional piece too. Mr. Oquan Malone.
Correct. We would have the additional insurance coverage. We would have the vendor has to have a mobile catering license, which is what covers them depending on where they are, and then we would also receive a variance from the parish per event is how we're going about it currently through the sheriff's office.
So we would need to add for each event. Is that what you're saying? We would need to get approval from the parish.
Correct. That's the current model that we have.
And I believe currently Ms. Paula Johnson, our board counsel, has already met with the council relative to those particular events. Ms. Oakley Malone.
Yes, we are approved of all events as of October, and then we would continue to reach out about each event as we move forward.
That's all. I'll ask the other questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, Mr. O'Quinn Malone. Any further discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.12, resolution for confirming the sale of $15 million of general obligation school bonds, Series 2022. The school board is required to approve a resolution recognizing the final form and execution of the bond purchase agreement in connection with the issuance and sale of $15 million of general obligation school bonds, Series 2022. This resolution was prepared by Foley and Jadell, the district's bond attorneys. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the resolution confirming the sale of $15 million of general obligation school bonds, Series 2022.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, second by Mr. Nakian. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. And that motion passes. Item 4.13, accounts payable for the month of September 2022. Invoices and other financial obligations of the school district are customarily paid weekly. Requests for approval of these transactions is normally made to the board monthly. The board must approve expenditures of public funds under its jurisdiction. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 17, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the accounts payable for the month of September 2022 in the amount of $8,906,602.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nakian, second by Mr. Savoy. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.14, appointment of lobbying services. Legislative actions directly impact the operations of St. Charles Parish Public Schools. In order to assist the school system with legislative affairs, the Legislative Committee met on Wednesday, September 28, 2022, and reviewed 3 proposals from prospective lobbyists to represent the district. Magnolia Strategic Consultants, LLC, was selected to provide lobbying services. This agenda item was reviewed at the Legislative Committee meeting of the board on October 17, 2022, and is aligned with Goal E of the board's strategic action plan.
Move approval of the appointment of Magnolia Strategic Consultants, LLC, for lobbying services at a cost of $60,000 annually.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Robichaux, seconded by Mr. Smith. I understand we have Mr. Lenny Kapowski from Magnolia Strategic Consultants LLC in attendance. Would you like to come up and address the board?
Your air conditioner works really well. So, first of all, thank you. It's just a personal honor. We are a St. Charles Parish based entity over in St. Rose. I like coming over here because of the barbecue place down the street. But first of all, I wanted to say this, and I shared this with the superintendent earlier. I've been wandering around Louisiana for 25 years. I've been in more of local government meetings than I could ever remember, but I have rarely been in a local government or organization, school board, council, parish council, where there was just such a good attitude in the air, and all the folks that came up before and got their awards. And I sincerely mean that. It's a pleasure. And every time I comment about St. Charles Parish or anyone else comments, the schools. So being around a brand, I break everything down by brands. Being around a brand like this is truly a privilege and an honor. We do some work with where I went to college, University of New Orleans, and I consider that a privilege, and I put y'all in the same category as that. We look forward to a really robust relationship with y'all, and we're just so proud to be part of this organization and this community. So,
thank you very much. Is there any further discussion? We do need to ratify. Probably should have done that. Go ahead and cast your vote. That motion passes. We now move into closing items, beginning with item 5.01, standing committee reports. The chair of any standing committee may present a report at this time.
Mr. President, the Transportation Committee did not meet.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Mr. President, Capital Improvement Committee for the first time in 16 years did not meet.
Did meet. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Mr. President, the Risk Management and Insurance Committee met on Monday. We had our monthly legal update. We also had an update from USI on our health insurance, and they're going to do that monthly for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Quinn.
Mr. President, the first of our thoughts, we had 7 items that we tonight. The job description of the middle school athletic trainer, resident teaching district inside training compensation plan, the disciplinary hearing officer list, revision to procedure 4.6.3C, employment of retired personnel, first reading. Thank you, Art. 409 was revisions to policy and procedure 4.7.2, military leave for its first reading. Revisions to procedure 4.6.10, employee discipline for its first reading. And 410 was personnel items. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sawant.
Mr. President, as you mentioned, the legislative committee met on last Monday and considered the request for proposals for a lobbyist, and the board selected Magnolia, as you indicated. I want to thank the board for having the insight to look at hiring a lobbyist, because the political environment that we find ourselves in at the present time requires a school district or any other governmental entity to be heard in Baton Rouge. There are many issues that definitely impact public education. Those are not limited to finance, curriculum, but in every aspect of school operations. So I want to thank the board for having the foresight and insight to make this selection. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And the Finance and Audit Committee met on Monday, October 17th and covered 3 items. All 3 of those items came to the full board this evening and were approved. So at this time, item 5.02, we have our superintendent's report, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Whitman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The website niche.com released its 2023 rankings this week on best schools and school districts in the country. This recognition takes into account more than just test scores. The 2023 rankings have St. Charles Parish Public Schools once again as the number 3 best school district in Louisiana. We should be number 1. Just saying. In addition to earning the number 1 spot in every category in the New Orleans area. These noteworthy rankings highlight the shared commitment of our students, employees, and community to expect excellence. Number 1 best school district for athletes in New Orleans and number 2 in Louisiana. Number 1 best place to teach in the New Orleans area. Number 1 district with best teachers in the New Orleans area, and number 1 most diverse school district in the New Orleans area. This information will be shared with the community on our social media pages and website. This recognition is a credit to the strong leadership of you, our board, our students' hard work, our employees' dedication, and our community's support of public education. You can view our complete rankings at niche.com. As of today, we have incurred a total of $42,974,670 in Hurricane Ida recovery expenses, including $1,124,480 this past week. We are projecting our future costs to be approximately $9.1 million, including $7.7 million for the large construction projects and $1.7 million for the smaller projects. We have received $29,716,672 in insurance payments thus far. And finally, as a reminder, daylight savings time ends on November 6th at 2 a.m. Please remember to set your clocks back an hour. Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Orling. Any further discussion to come before the board?
Move adjourn. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Robichaux and a second by Mr. Smith to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. We stand adjourned.